If you want to support the show, you can go to mwpnews.com/support, where you can pick up my latest book, Succession Planning, and all my other books that have previously been released on Kindle for only $2.99 each. Thank you. Good morning, and welcome to the Backlog Files. I am Adam. This is the beginning of the part that I was looking forward to most with this project. We talked about it before, because I've always kind of given a sense of where I was in my life when these games came out. And Gen 1, I was 2 years old. I didn't play it till a little later. Pokemon Yellow was my first game. I eventually got Red after. Gold, I eventually got around the same time it came out. This was the first game that I actively looked forward to its release. This game came out in 2003, so 21 years ago today, actually, because I got it on my birthday the day it came out. So here we are. And I picked this game out because I was 9 years old, and I was like, holy shit, there's a new Pokemon game. And I remember seeing stuff for it in magazines and stuff like that, because at this point I had started, getting into gaming magazines and stuff. And I remember seeing it in, I think it was like Nintendo Life or Boys Life or something like that, because I was a Boy Scout at the time, and just being like, holy shit, this looks amazing. This game looks so much better than Gold and Silver, and I'm like, I have to play this. And I got Ruby for my birthday, and then a few months later, Christmas, so 9 months later, I got Sapphire. And I logged, before I reset my file in Ruby for the first time, I logged about 300 hours on that save file. I played the fuck out of that game. And look, I think that this is I don't think this is a perfect Pokemon game. I think that there are things that have come after it that have been done better. I think there are things that come after it that have been done worse. The game is basically open world. I mean, if you go through the map, you can go from anywhere to anywhere in the open world, except for, like, Pseudopolis City and Evergrande City. You can go anywhere just by walking or biking or surfing or whatever you need to do. There's no gate that's mandatory to go through to do anything. It's just one giant map, which is so impressive for what this was. Like, coming off of the past games where it's like there were gates basically everywhere that you had to go through that, would keep the load times down. There were no gates in this, and that was such a cool thing. The sprites in full color and starting to look totally different with the power of the Game Boy Advance. The way the legends were creatures of myth that had earth-shattering powers was something that's like, holy shit, we're actually, like, there are Pokemon that can do cool stuff and not just be and not just be like, oh, this is something cool that's hidden away somewhere. Like, no, this is something dangerous, and we're using it for a dangerous reason. This was the beginning of abilities, which had both in battle and out of battle uses. The contest system was something that I was like, holy shit, I'm going to get every fucking ribbon in this game. And I did on one of my Pokemon. I got every ribbon in the game on this one Pokemon, and that was truly a moment for me. To have been able to do that. The ability to go into, like, the way the Safari Zone was laid out was so cool. The two different bikes was so cool. This was just like everything you could possibly want for me at that age. This game delivered on all of that. And it's the kind of thing where it's like, I go back and the puzzles in the game were cool. Like, finding the Reggies was like something that was, okay, so you have to go a certain way through this, they don't have this anymore in these games. Like this idea you have to go through these rapids at the right way to end up at this, at this thing you can dive down. And you have to dive down, and you have to have two specific Pokemon. You have to go up, and then you have to do these things in this cave to open the door, and then it'll open up the three other doors at the other ruins that are all over the map. And then when you go in there, you have to do different things at each one. And then that will unlock stuff. Um, and then it's like the idea of this game having elements from space really captured my imagination too, because even though it wasn't in the base game, Deoxys and Jirachi were both really cool ideas that there were these Pokemon from space. Um, and this kind of all came together in a really cool way. Um, and look, I like there are things that are done better. I think abilities are better implemented later in the game. I think we still don't have the special, the physical special split yet, so there's still some weirdness there. Um, and like I think that you know, like a lot of this is the beginning of the firefighting, trend for what 3 straight generations where the starter is firefighting. Um, it's just a lot to deal with there on that front. Now the game does have some issues too. Like I think the glitch with the berries was a little bit of little bit of a problem where you had to get one of the later games to get that fixed. Um, like that was a pretty substantial issue considering how much berries were changed for this game and designed differently, where you had to plant the berries and then grow them and all of that. Considering how that was designed, that's a pretty serious, kind of mistake. Um, but it was eventually fixed. And I think if you play it now, I think it would be fixed. Well, you may have to do it separately. I think that the secret bases were such a cool idea. As we're mixing records that go along with that. It was kind of like building your own gym for your friends, and that was a really cool idea where you would just put in whatever your party was when you mixed records, and whatever your secret base was when you mixed records. That would go into your friend's game, and you'd be able to go and battle them whenever. It was like creating a gym just for them. I don't think you got experience from that because I feel like that was a pretty exploitative way if it was. As opposed to now. The Mirage Island I still have not encountered yet to this day, which is a pretty cool mechanic. I'm still entirely convinced it's in the game. What else have we got that I missed with this? I think that just about covers it. Yeah, I think that just about covers it. But this was definitely, like, to this day, like this year when we do the 9th anniversary episode of 30-minute reviews, we're going to do our favorite video games. And this or Emerald is going to be in that list, I think, for me. What else have we got? Yeah, I think this is going to be, like, this is easily going to go into the number 1 slot. And I think that there is one other issue that I have with the game. Let me be honest about this. The only other issue that I really have with this is the fact that you can't, what's it called? There are a lot of Pokemon you can't get because of the hardware compatibility issues between between the Game Boy Color and the Game Boy Advance. There's a lot of stuff that can't come because if they were in Gen 2, you had to move them over. You couldn't move them over. You were just kind of stuck, which led to a lot of odd things that happened in the later games, which we'll talk about as we get through. But this is a new number 1. Let's just, let's not mince words. This is the new number 1, Ruby and Sapphire. Which puts our ranking as follows. Number 12, Hey You Pikachu. Number 11, Pokemon Pinball. Number 10, Pokemon Puzzle Challenge / Pokemon Puzzle League. Number 9, Pokemon Trading Card Game. Number 8, Red and Blue. Number 7, Stadium. Number 6, Stadium 2. Number 5, Snap. Number 4, Yellow. Number 3, Gold and Silver. Number 2, Crystal. Number 1, Ruby and Sapphire. Yeah, I think this is, this is going to be it's going to be interesting to see where I put later games against this. Because I think mechanically this game works very well. There's a lot of water, as criticized with Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire by IGN in their 7.8 review. But you move so quickly while you're surfing, you don't even notice it. It's not a problem. So if you got to surf all the time in the second half of the game, you don't really miss it too. It doesn't bother too much. But we'll wrap up there for today. Next week we have Pokemon Emerald. The week after that we have Pokemon Red, Fire Red and Leaf Green. And then the week after that we start Coliseum and XD. We'll do Coliseum, then XD the week after. This week we'll have 2 more episodes. Number 1, I'm thinking Wednesday, we're going to have an episode about Battlefront and Battlefront 2. Friday we will be doing the Dune expansion for Dune Spice Wars. We'll talk about the Ixians coming in as a new faction and all the kings that came in that pack. But until our next episode, have a great rest of your week.